welcome to our channel. Tonight we delve into the eerie and unsettling world of the deep forest at night. Imagine the feeling of being watched, the paranoia that sets in with every creak and groan of the ancient trees. The stories we're about to share tap into that primal fear, the terror that lurks just beyond the reach of civilization. So, gather close, turn down the lights, and prepare to be pulled into the unsettling embrace of the deep, dark woods. In the heart of the sprawling wilderness, nestled amongst towering pines and shrouded in an almost perpetual mist, lies Blackwood Forest. Locals tell tales of its haunting beauty, a place where the air hangs heavy with an unseen dread. For generations, Blackwood Forest has been a place of whispers, a place where darkness seems to cling a little tighter. Our story begins with the unsettling experiences of those brave or perhaps foolish enough to venture into Blackwood after nightfall. Locals speak of strange, echoing laughter carried on the wind, laughter devoid of any joy, sharp and chilling. Others recount the feeling of being watched, of unseen eyes tracking their every move from the impenetrable darkness beyond their flickering campfires. Then, there are the disappearances, people venturing off the well-worn paths, swallowed whole by the oppressive woods, never to be seen again. Some whisper of an ancient evil that claims those who dare to trespass, an entity that feeds on the fear of the lost and vulnerable. One particularly chilling account speaks of a group of hikers who strayed from the marked trails, lured deeper into the woods by an unnatural, almost hypnotic birdsong. As dusk settled, a thick fog rolled in, blanketing the forest in an eerie silence. The hikers, disoriented and gripped by a growing sense of unease, stumbled through the undergrowth, their calls to each other swallowed by the dense fog. One by one, they disappeared, their cries for help cut short, leaving behind only an unnerving silence. The sole survivor, a young woman named Sarah, emerged from the forest days later, her eyes wide with terror, her clothes torn, her mind seemingly shattered by whatever she had witnessed within the heart of Blackwood. To this day, Sarah refuses to speak of what she saw, but the haunted look in her eyes, and the tremors that rack her body when she hears the wind rustling through the trees, speak volumes. Blackwood Forest, it seems, had taken a part of her, leaving behind a chilling reminder of the darkness that lurks beneath its deceptively serene beauty. Our next tale takes us deep into the heart of Redwood National Park, where a group of friends on a weekend camping trip would encounter something they could never have imagined. The friends, 4 in all, were drawn to the ancient redwoods, their towering presence promising an escape from the mundane. They set up camp in a secluded clearing, the air thick with the scent of pine and damp earth. Laughter and shared stories filled the air as they cooked their dinner over an open fire, the flames casting dancing shadows against the towering trees. As the night deepened and the fire crackled, they shared stories, some spooky, some funny, but their jovial mood soon shifted. A chill settled over the campsite, a sudden and unnatural drop in temperature that sent shivers down their spines. The laughter died down, replaced by an uneasy silence as they instinctively huddled closer to the warmth of the fire. That's when they saw him. A figure standing silently at the edge of the firelight, a tall, gaunt silhouette shrouded in shadow. At first they dismissed it as a trick of the light, a figment of their imaginations fueled by the spooky stories and the late hour. But as the figure remained, unmoving, its eyes seeming to glow in the firelight, a cold dread gripped their hearts. One of the friends, a young man named Mark, tried to rationalize the situation, suggesting it was just another camper drawn to their fire. He called out, his voice echoing strangely in the sudden stillness of the forest. But the figure didn't respond, didn't even acknowledge Mark's presence. It just stood there, a specter at the edge of the light, its gaze fixed on the terrified campers. The silence stretched on, each tick of the clock amplifying their fear. Then, as quickly as it had appeared, the figure vanished, melting back into the darkness beyond the reach of the firelight. A wave of relief washed over the group, but it was a short-lived reprieve. The moment the figure disappeared, the temperature plummeted again, and a low, mournful moan echoed through the campsite, seeming to come from everywhere and nowhere at once. Panic set in. They frantically threw their belongings into their backpacks, desperate to escape the clearing, to put as much distance between themselves and the ghostly figure as possible. Chapter 3. The Lost Hiker. Our final tale takes us to the dense and unforgiving wilderness of the Appalachian Mountains, a place where nature's beauty can quickly turn treacherous. Our story centers on a seasoned hiker named Daniel, a man who found solace in the solitude of the mountains. Daniel knew these woods like the back of his hand, or so he thought. He had spent countless hours exploring its hidden trails, navigating its rugged terrain, always respectful of the power and unpredictability of nature. But on this particular day, Daniel would find himself facing a different kind of wilderness, one that defied logic and challenged his perception of reality. It started innocently enough. Daniel set out on a familiar trail, his backpack filled with supplies, his mind at ease as he breathed in the crisp mountain air. The sun filtered through the canopy, casting dappled shadows on the forest floor. He felt a sense of calm wash over him, the familiar comfort of being surrounded by nature's embrace. As the hours passed, Daniel ventured deeper into the woods, eventually reaching a fork in the trail he had never encountered before. Curiosity piqued, he decided to take the less traveled path, confident in his ability to find his way back. But as he pressed on, the forest seemed to grow darker, the air thicker, the once familiar sounds of birdsong and rustling leaves replaced by an unsettling silence. Daniel checked his compass, a knot of unease forming in his stomach as he realized the needle was spinning erratically, unable to find north. He was lost. Panic threatened to consume him, but he fought it back, drawing on his years of experience to stay calm and assess the situation. He tried to retrace his steps, but every turn seemed to lead him deeper into the labyrinthine woods. The sun began to dip below the horizon, casting long, eerie shadows that danced and twisted, playing tricks on his already frayed nerves. As darkness enveloped the forest, Daniel stumbled upon a clearing. A small, dilapidated cabin stood in the center, its windows dark and lifeless. Relief washed over him. Here was shelter, a beacon of hope in the growing darkness. He approached cautiously, calling out, but his voice was met with an eerie silence. He knocked on the weathered door, his heart pounding in his chest. A moment later, the door creaked open, as if inviting him inside. Daniel hesitated, a primal instinct warning him to turn back. But the need for shelter outweighed his fear. He stepped inside, his senses immediately assaulted by the smell of decay and something else, something metallic and vaguely sweet. The cabin was dark, the only light filtering in through the grimy windows. Dust motes danced in the air, illuminated by the faint moonlight. He took a step further into the cabin, his hand reaching for his flashlight. That's when he heard it. A low, guttural growl coming from the far corner of the room. Daniel froze, his blood turning to ice. He slowly turned towards the sound, his flashlight beam cutting through the darkness. There, in the corner, crouched a creature that defied description, its eyes glowing an unnatural yellow in the darkness. It lunged at Daniel, its teeth bared in a silent snarl. Daniel stumbled back, tripping over something on the floor and falling to the ground. He scrambled backward, his heart pounding in his ears as the creature stalked towards him, its hot, fetid breath on his face. Daniel squeezed his eyes shut, bracing himself for the attack, but it never came. He slowly opened his eyes to find the creature gone, vanished into thin air. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed these stories, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more spine-chilling tales. Remember, the next time you find yourself surrounded by the stillness of the forest at night, listen closely. You never know what might be lurking just beyond the reach of the firelight. Stay safe and stay spooky.